back to MES 194. Today we're going to discuss a form of music that was developed during the Baroque period. And please understand there are many forms in the Baroque period. In fact, when I was talking about the musical characteristics, the Baroque form for suite was ABA. Well, there's another form that is very prominent, and we're going to focus on that. But please know that what we're going to discuss is not the only form that was used during the Baroque period. We're going to focus on the fugue. Now, a fugue is, let's break this down, polyphonic, which means multiple melodies. It's a polyphonic composition or piece of music based on one main theme called the subject or the statement, because there is actually a statement answer process. Now, what happens is the statement or the subject is started off in the first part. Let's say this is a picture of the direction of the melody. So the first part is going to make the statement. Then the second part is going to answer that statement with the same statement. And then after that statement is said, here comes the third part with the same statement, and then here comes the fourth part. Now, when the second voice comes in, the first part changes. When the third part comes in, the second part does what the first part did. So on and so forth. And it just continues and continues and continues and developing and changing all throughout the piece of music. And they're going to take the subject and make changes to it, to keep it interesting. There are four main techniques of what we can do to the melody. The first is called an inversion. It's when we actually take the melody, we actually take the music and turn it upside down. And that's going to change which notes you play. Here's the melody I'm going to use for the example. It's very commonly known. You know this. Now, when we take and flip the melody over, it's going to change all the notes. And this is what inverting Mary Had a Little Lamb sounds like. That's called an inversion. When you invert something, you turn it upside down. Airplanes, when they talk about flying an inverted airplane, it's when they fly upside down above the ground in those airplane shows. Second technique is called retrograde. Basically, if the notes go A, B, C, D, well, now we're going to play them backwards. Retrograde means in reverse. So instead of playing A, B, C, D, we're going to play D, C, B, A. Put that lid on there. when we take Mary Had a Little Lamb and retrograde the melody, it sounds like this. So now I'm going to play all three what I just did, the regular, the main statement, then I'm going to change the melody around to an inversion and then to a retrograde. From the beginning, here I go. And just as, I almost tripped over a chord, just as in a fugue toward the end, the composer will bring back in the very first statement. That's why I finished with Mary Had a Little Lamb again. Now, another technique is called augmentation. When you augment something, you make it larger. In this case, we're just going to make the notes last longer. So Mary Had a Little Lamb goes from this to this. So I'll just drag the notes out. The next technique that is commonly used is called diminution. When you demolish something, you blow it up, make it fall down. Well, diminution, we're making the notes shorter. So Mary Had a Little Lamb goes. We do diminution and make it shorter. And some people may say, oh no, you just played it faster. But remember, we have more than one part going on at the same time, so it may sound something like this. And that was augmentation with the regular melody being played along with it. So those are the four techniques we use to change the melody. You have the statement or the subject, and then we have the answer, and then another answer, and then a development section. And there's a video I've attached on the class page called What is a Fugue? Go ahead and watch that. I may take a couple terms. Make sure you have your notes with you and write down the meaning of the terms, because I will probably use some of those terms in your test. All right, I want to play and show you a video example of, oh, I forgot to introduce the piece. We're going to listen to a piece called The Little Fugue. The Little Fugue was written by J.S. Bach. Remember the court composer that was thrown in prison because he wanted to change his job. And we're listening to it as an example of a fugue. F-U-G-U-E. This is Bach's Little Fugue in G minor. And it's color-coded. I'm going to wheel this around. And yes, this will also be on the class web page. I'm not going to worry about zooming in. You'll be able to see this. This is Bach's Little Fugue. Here's the main statement right here coming in green in the top voice. And now you see the next voice, second one down, is coming in this brown orangey kind of thing, but it's going to play the same thing the first part just played. Listen to it coming in. And here comes the third part. We're going to play the first statement again. Here comes the fourth part, playing that first statement while everyone else is developing the themes. Okay. That gives you a general idea of how, well, not a general, that is how the fugue is developed. Now I'm going to play a recording of a gentleman, and I have not been able to find his name, but playing it on a pipe organ like you would see in the church. And that's not it. This is it. And I show this particular video for two main reasons. One, so you can hear the church organ, the pipe organ being played, and see how difficult it is to play. Not only is this gentleman using his hands, but he's playing 4 different parts. He's got 2 hands and 2 feet, so he has to use everything to play this piece. may notice the title actually says Little Fugue in G minor. Well, that's the actual full length name of the piece, but it is generally accepted as the Little Fugue. And so therefore that's what we're going to use for class, just the Little Fugue. Now, after you watch this video, the next class date will be a test, a quiz called, well, that's what we use for tests, is be a quiz on the Baroque period. I'm going to go back to a quick review. Remember the age of absolutism, the years that's involved with the Baroque period, how the arts became flamboyant, and the contrast and the colors on the pictures, on the visual art, the different music characteristics that were standard during this time period, rhythm, melody, dynamics. Remember the terrorist dynamics, not terrorist. The chords, the basso continuo, the Baroque orchestra, how 10 to 40 musicians, trumpet players, rock stars. Remember the video we watched on timbre or tone color? And that a movement is a piece that can stand by itself, but part of a larger work. Remember I talked about the suite of these three pieces together for this ABA form. And then we discussed the fugue. Good luck on your test, and I will see you next time. Class dismissed.